Hey all, Bynx here, and welcome to the very first episode of Bynx Bants. This is going to be a weekly series coming out every single Monday, where I'm going to be talking about everything going on in Marvel Snap, including news and updates, so OTAs, patch notes, and new limited time modes. We'll talk about the past new cards that have come out in the last week and talk about my thoughts on them. We'll preview upcoming cards that are coming out on Tuesday and give you my general thoughts on how excited I am. We're also going to be having a special little featured section every single week to have a little bit of variety and to just share some really cool things about Marvel Snap that I've learned over the years. I'm so excited to be bringing you this first episode. This is something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. But having something you can set your clock to that's going to be coming out every single Monday, and to hear my thoughts on everything going on, I think is something that the community has been asking for a really long time, and something I've really wanted to do for a long time, to just be able to have a nice little kind of platform to do stuff like that. So for our very first episode today, we're going to be going over getting back into Snap. Maybe you've been following me for a really long time and you don't really play Snap too much anymore. So I'm going to be talking about just ways that you can do catch-up mechanics, new things that they've implemented, and also share some different guides and resources that I use to look at the economy of Marvel Snap in a much more detailed way. We're going to be talking about the brand new card, the Prowler. We're going to be talking about the cards from the last week, including Spider-Man Noir, Deafening Chord, and Hydro Man. And then we'll be jumping into Snap news and updates. So first things first, getting back into Snap. I love this game. I think that it is one of the best games ever designed from a live service standpoint. I think the way that the games go really quickly is so much fun to be able to just jump on your phone and play casually, or, be really competitive, as you've seen with a lot of tournaments going on. So I love when people want to come back or want to play, or even want to just talk about Snap a little bit. So I wanted to share with you some things that I have learned and some new things that have come out for really great ways to get back into Marvel Snap. A really great one that just came out a few months ago is the Welcome Back calendar. It's a login calendar that features 28 days of rewards. So you will basically get this calendar that appears when you log in. I believe it's 2 months that you have to wait from your last login to activate this. There's 28 days of rewards and you have 35 days to complete it. So you do have a little bit of leeway. You don't have to be super on top of it, opening it every single day. You get about an extra week to do it. You also have new random cards from varying series on day 1, 7, 21, and 28. So getting a bunch of new cards is a really great way to kind of supercharge things, and a ton of additional rewards as well. There's also a bonus challenge that you have 30 days to complete with 50 additional missions, where you'll get a bunch of rewards, variants, cosmetics, currencies, snap packs, you name it. And then you'll also be getting a season pass discount for 25% off the season pass or super premium pass first few days that you come back in. So there are some new things that are available to help you get some of that level of catch up if you are a little bit behind. Then here are just some general tips that you can think about as you're trying to regrow your collection, especially if you're trying to be really stingy with your resources and use them as effectively as possible. So I would definitely say to take advantage of Snap Packs. It can be very simple to just want to buy the cards that you want, but you're not going to really get as much value that way. So if you use Snap Packs, not only are you just getting a discount on the card that you're getting, it's about 17% for new cards and 33% for older cards. That's either Series 5 or Series 4. But you also get extra goodies, which can include credits or new cards. So you can just have a roll where you end up getting an additional card on top of what you paid after already taking a discount. Now, I do think that there are certain cards that you should go after specifically. Things like Erisham or true build-around cards are a great thing to go after. But in general, I think that spending your currency on Snap Packs is going to push every bit of currency a little bit further. Another really big thing is if you are no longer Series 3 complete and things have dropped back down to Series 3, do not spend any currency on Series 3, even if you're like a newer player. Series 3 cards are really easy to get. You get them super fast on the collection track compared to Series 4 or Series 5. So make sure you're spending those resources on Series 4 and Series 5 cards as much as possible. Also, utilizing limited time modes is really important. So there a lot of new modes have been incredibly generous recently, ever since like Kid Omega about 6 months ago, really kind of tore a little bit of the trust for the Marvel Snap community with Second Dinner. They have been really, really good with making all these limited time modes worth your time and getting resources as well as cosmetics. Getting the cosmetics might not really, improve or grow your collection in Marvel Snap, but getting those cosmetics for free through these helps you use those resources and not want to spend them on cosmetics. So it can still be nice to get those cosmetics and have fun with them while still using your resources as well as possible. And this is another one that has always existed, but I feel like people don't really talk about it. Upgrade your common variants. I am someone who has not done this, and I go through my list of common variants, and it's insane. But if you upgrade your common variants, you actually make every credit go over twice as far. So not only is it 50% of the value of the credit to push you on the collection track when you upgrade from a common to an uncommon border, but also as you push through that track faster, you unlock then more credits faster to then continue upgrading more of your common variants. So if you are someone who is returning or you're like a newer player who's trying to push all of your credits as much as possible, it's a little bit time consuming, but going through and upgrading all of your common variants with your credits first before you upgrade anything else can help you get a really, really big push ahead. So I think that is a great way if you're coming back into Marvel Snap, you're trying to use this new currency that you have to catch up as fast as possible. Upgrading all of those commons is going to be really, really great for you. I also just wanted to go into some resources. I think that using guides to spend your currency as efficiently as possible is the best thing that you can do. A lot of people will come into my stream asking me just for advice, and these are usually the places that I push people towards. So the first one is going to be Marvel Snap Zone. This is just a great website that has tons of different guides. Den is great at doing that. You can check down a link in the description if you want to check it out, or just Google it. I'm sure that you will find it. They tend to actually have better SEO than normal Marvel Snap a lot of the time, so I promise you won't have too much trouble finding it. But there's tons of guides on either breaking down bundles and, if you are going to spend money in Marvel Snap, trying to wait for those highest value bundles that you can to make sure that that money that you're putting in goes as far as possible. And just a lot of really great ways to take a peek at different things, resources to look at a lot of great things. So Marvel Snap Zone is great. Then I wanted to shout out a community member in particular who does write for Marvel Snap Zone and has a lot of articles on there as well. But it is Lauren Whatevs. They give incredible, fantastic statistical breakdowns of events and economy changes to really just crunch the math and figure out exactly how to spend your time and resources most effectively in either limited time modes or just anytime changes come. They had an incredible breakdown of snap packs that I actually used a lot for a previous section of this, but you can check out their YouTube at youtube.com/@snaponthispod and x.com/LaurenWhatevs. Both those links will also be down in the description, but she is just incredible at making really, really fantastic breakdowns of things, so I definitely wanted to shout her out. So that's about getting back into Marvel Snap, and I hope that if you have taken a break, you give it another chance, because boy, oh boy, I do think the game is as balanced as ever, and a lot of the new cards are super exciting, including the brand new card, the Prowler, which is a 3 energy, 4 power card that says, on reveal, add 2 Thief's Tools to your hand, set their cost to 0 if a card moved last turn. This is a card that has a lot of different kind of moving pieces and things that you have to be aware of. So there are 3 different options for the Thief's Tools that get added to your hand. You get 2 of them. You have the Remote Mines, which is a 1-cost skill. It says on reveal, afflict the 2 highest power enemy cards here with -2 power. You have the Vibro Shock Gauntlets, a 1-cost skill with the ability on reveal, give your highest power card here +2 power. You get +1 energy next turn. And then finally, the Flight Harness, a 1 energy skill that says on reveal, give your highest power card here +1 power and move it to the right. All these skills are actually like really, really great. The Flight Harness, you probably want to be utilizing move cards to really take advantage of it. But pretty much the rest of them you can do with any deck. You do have to have the trigger of a movement last turn to be able to unlock them for 0 cost. So obviously move decks will have that great advantage. But honestly, the more I look at this, I don't even know if that's like something that is going to be a completely limiting factor on playing the Prowler, because I think that the skills are just very, very strong regardless. I mean, like +2 power and +1 energy next turn. I mean, that's just like a great thing to just fit into a turn to push you and ramp you a little bit further for your final turns. Moving can be good, even if you're not a move deck, to just get into locations or to kind of fight against clogging your locations, reposition power in a really, really cool way. And then this is just a 1 cost, hit your opponent with -4. So really, really efficient cards here, even if you're not triggering him for 0. I think that specific move decks will probably want to use this. It might not be more of a like deck that's focused on like getting a really big Human Torch like a lot of move decks are doing, but just like maybe using like a Silk package with the new Spider Punk to try and have a few things that can get some pretty good value out of the tool that actually moves them, the Flight Harness. And just being able to have these cards is just so powerful. So I think that this card is going to be incredible. I think that it will find its way into a lot of different decks. Any deck that has any way of moving cards relatively early on like turns 2 or 3 is going to absolutely love this card, just because getting those 0 cost skills is crazy. Like getting this 3/4 and then, let's say you get +2 power and then you get an additional energy on the next turn and then you afflict one of your opponent's cards with -4. You're just getting so much value out of this. You're getting like a 210 worth of value out of this card. So I don't see really any way that this card won't hit it all. There's also some fringe synergies with things like Devil Dinosaur or Kahori. Like just playing this into Kahori is really, really great to buff that up by +2. Really reminds me of Kate Bishop in a lot of ways, but with the added benefits of being able to make them 0 and with the added benefit of the skills not actually taking up board spaces. So I think that this card is going to be incredible. I am so excited to cook with it and try it with a bunch of things. Cannot recommend trying to get your hands on this card enough. I think that it is going to be an instant hit and a really, really great tool to have in a lot of your different decks. And then let's talk about the cards that have come out in the last week. So last week's main card was Spider-Man Noir, a 4 energy 6 power with the ability on reveal. If your other cards in play cost exactly 8 total, add the top card of your deck here and set its power to 8. So really, really incredible ability if you get it to activate. You're not only able to just get a 414 worth of value, but it could be a lot more than 414 because you can have your deck set up so you have things like Brood or Mr. Sinister or Iron Man that can get created. I really like White Tiger with this card. It's just an incredible hit off of it. And then it also works great with Merlin. I think that Merlin is one of the really core cards to trying to get the strategy online, because having 8 exact power worth of or cost worth of cards is really, really hard. I thought when I first played this card, it was going to be super, super easy, but it's actually really hard to get it to set up right. So I think of cards like Merlin. Merlin has the polymorph, which can push one of the costs of one of your cards up by 1. And then it also has the one that puts a card back in your deck. So if you go a little bit overboard, or maybe there's some locations that change things up, Merlin gives you some way out of those. I think that this card is really looked down upon right now. People think it's really bad. I think that the biggest problem is just that the community hasn't really figured out the best ways to use it. There's some really cool innovative things that people are doing using like Domino and Makari to try and have Makari come out early. You play Domino, then you play a 3 cost on 3, and then bingo bango, you are at 8 cost. Activate your Spider-Man Noir. You can also have really powerful cards that are in there that can work with it, such as Brood, as we've talked about before. So this card, I think that if you already passed on it, or if you're still on the fence, I think you can pass on it. I think it's a really cool deck building puzzle. I think people think that I hate the card because I did make this this Twitter post about it saying I was struggling to make Spider-Man Noir work until I found the perfect adjustment I needed to make. And it's 2 different decks. It's kind of a Bast Agent Venom shell. And one of them, I had Spider-Man Noir. I was trying to make it work. I went 12 and 11, and then I took out Spider-Man Noir, and I ended up gaining 32 cubes and going 21 and 8. So I think the biggest problem with the community right now is that we are trying to force this into shells and not really knowing the best ways to build around it. Because a lot of times, if you just kind of add this into a deck that already exists, it's just going to make the deck worse. You really have to puzzle around to make this effect work. I don't know if this card will ever be super competitive at its current setup. It's just too easily countered, too easily messed with. Like things like Luna Snow from your opponent will put a 1 cost on your side, and then if they have priority, it'll mess things up. Or maybe on turn 3, you set up the exact amount of cards to do it, and then something gets sent over your way, or you know, a location changes and adds other costs of cards to your side. So it's pretty hard. I don't know if it'll ever be super competitive, but I do think that it's a lot better than people are giving credit for at the moment. The next card that we had was Deafening Chord, which is a Series 4 card. It's a 1-cost skill. The ability on reveal, afflict an enemy character here that costs 3 or less with -1 power and remove its text. So a very, very cheap tech card, probably like the cheapest tech card available at all now by like a crazy margin. Pretty much all the tech cards have gotten pushed up to 3 cost or more. So having this 1 cost tech card option is really, really great for a lot of decks. Not having to commit a lot in the later turns and just being able to have this way to compete against things that are trying to scale. This card works really great against like things like Victoria Hand if you can target it, or you know, a discard deck going after like a Bullseye, or a Mobius can be really, really great, or a Morbius, sorry, for Discord, or a Mobius. I would not be upset about taking out a Mobius. One thing that is a bit of a problem with it compared to the easiest comparison, which is Red Guardian, which targets the lowest power card and hits it for -2 and removes its text. This one is just any random 3-cost card. As this card gets played more and more and people get used to it, and you're expecting to see a Deafening Chord from your opponent, they will probably stack multiple cards, especially cards that don't really get affected by removing their text, like on reveals and things like that. So it's a little bit easily countered, but I still think having this 1-cost tech option is great. For a Series 4 card, it is just an absolutely fantastic thing to get your hands on as this tool if you want to have ways to mess with your opponent's strategies without having to have a big investment for things like, you know, Shadow King or any of these other things like Rouge or any of these cards that cost 3 or more. This is a really, really cheap way to get a similar effect. Really, really great card to have in your collection and very, very strong. The next card is Hydro Man, which came out actually today as of recording. A 5 energy, 8 power card with the ability on reveal, set the cost of each deck's top card to 1. I have not gotten to play with this card yet, but I am so excited to get my hands on it and mess around with it. I think that this ability is awesome. It reminds me so much of just like OG ramp style of things, of being able to play these giant cards and fight against your opponent who might not have big cards. So you get a huge advantage of like turning your 5 or 6 cost card into a 1 cost, and then you turn their 1, 2, or 3 cost card into a 1 cost. So you get a huge advantage going into that final turn. I can see this being used in a lot of different shells. I'm so excited to mess around with it. Let me know down in the comments below how you've enjoyed this card already. But boy, oh boy, I mean, they had the big change to like Wave and Odin that got a little bit of a power increase in the most recent OTA, and Orca did as well. So having all of these like big cards that Hydro Man can hit and buffing them up, I think is going to be super cool. This card just really speaks out to me as a way to just affect the game in an awesome sense that hasn't really been seen. You know, ramp has just kind of gone to the wayside. There's just way better ways to accelerate energy than playing things like Wave or like Electro, which you used to do. I played an OG ramp last week that I had so much fun with, utilizing Wave and Odin, and then Luna Snow, which is a really great way to get some extra energy without the downsides of Electro. It's definitely something you'd probably want to see with this card. Being able to play Luna Snow, you play this card on like 4 or 5, and then you get that 1-cost card that's hopefully like a 5 or a 6 drop. They could play alongside another 6 drop on that final turn. Really powerful stuff, and I'm so excited to mess with Hydro Man. And you can get your hands on Hydro Man from the brand new limited game mode, Santum Showdown, which is available from November 24th to December 1st. I'm really excited for Santum Showdown to be back. Haven't gotten my hands on it yet, even though it came out earlier today. But I think that Santum Showdown is a really unique and different way to play Marvel Snap that still feels very familiar. You're not super familiar with the rules. Basically, On turn 1, there is a like Sanctum location that you get 1 point for going after, and the same on turn 2. And then 3 and above, there is one main Sanctum location that is worth 4 points, and then the side locations are worth 1 point. So instead of trying to just amass the most power total over the course of a game, there's this kind of like back and forth battle of going after specific locations depending on where the Sanctum lands. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy had a huge comeback the very first time this was around. And I think that, you know, being able to call out where your opponent's going to go is really strong. And then there's like counter strategies to that of using like zoo style cards like Shanna, of attacking those lanes without actually playing on them to avoid Guardians. So lots of really, really cool back and forth ways that you can play Sanctum. I think it's a really unique and really cool way to play Marvel Snap. It's available from November 24th to December 1st. You can get Hydra Man very, very quickly. If you buy like the premium pass, you actually just get enough credits to get it immediately. But you can just get it by just playing the game and going through the normal reward track as well. The premium pass for it is 800 gold. So if you're not going to play it too much and you have 800 gold to spend, you get a bunch of like different currency and credits that you can use in the shop to get value, as well as the brand new card just for 800 gold. So really, really good value. Also some really cool things coming to the shop. A couple of emotes that I'm really excited for. There's like the leech saying what and the angel praying. I think that those are both going to be great ones to utilize. And there's also some really cool specific variants that you can see with the Namor and the magic there. Lots of really, really cool things to jump in with Santum Showdown. And then a little personal thing to me. Starting last year, I decided to make it a tradition that every Thanksgiving Day, I'm going to be doing a charity stream. And this year, I'm going to be doing this charity stream for Northern Illinois Food Bank. One thing that's important to me in choosing these charities is that I'm trying to find someone local to me. The Northern Illinois Food Bank helps take care of people in need. The whole north side of Illinois, basically outside of Chicago. A really, really great just charity in general. I've had so many amazing conversations with people there. Some of their big focuses is just trying to feed people as efficiently as possible. Every dollar that you donate to them, they can buy $8 worth of groceries based on their different deals that they have. So donating is just a really, really great way to give back and kind of multiply that amount that you can give back. They also have a lot of great ways that they are trying to make the system of utilizing things like food banks as friction-free as possible, and just trying to get rid of any barriers that people may have. You know, it's really, really hard out there. SNAP benefits were messed around like a political plaything at the beginning of this month, which put a lot of people not really knowing where their next meal is coming from in this country, which is really, really scary. And it's something that I admittedly was very ignorant about personally. So I'm really, really excited to be partnering with them. I went in and volunteered with them. You'll see probably a big announcement that I'm going to be doing tomorrow with some content that I shot with them as well. But just an incredible, incredible charity. And I'm so excited to be running this for them to help them raise funds and to help our neighbors. So that is going to be 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central Time on Thanksgiving Day. And then you can donate outside of the stream if you want. I will put the link to the fundraiser down below. And then I will also put a link to find your local food bank if you want to volunteer. Going and volunteering was just a really, really great thing for me to do. It made me feel really good, and it helped me, I don't know, it helped me kind of like understand this issue on a different level from you know, interacting with people who are there, interacting with workers and everything like that. So I think that it's an amazing thing to do, to not only use your time to give back to people in need, but just to get a little bit better understanding of, you know, how big this food crisis is in America, and just how many people are in need with it. So that's my little breakdown for it. You can check out Northern Illinois Food Bank at solvehungertoday.org. Check out the link to the donation directly, and then check out ways to find your local food bank to go and volunteer yourself down in the description below. And that's it. That's our very first episode of Bynx Bants. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you watched all the way through. That really, really means a lot. Like I said, this is going to be something that I'm going to be doing every single Monday. So I'm probably going to get rid of like doing the OTA reviews and stuff I've been doing on the channel. and kind of just all bringing this down here to provide to you every single Monday to give you my thoughts on everything that's going on in Marvel Snap news, and then some fun little things as well. If there was anything with this that it was maybe hard to read or some of the font was messing you up, please leave any feedback down below. It's my first time doing anything like this. I had to learn how to use friggin' Google Slides to get all of this set up. But I'm pretty happy with how all of this turned out, and I hope that you enjoy this new thing that you can now enjoy with my content. But thank you so much. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Bynx, Bynx, Bynx. I hope you like the